Recorded in their mother's basement, Super Nerdland brings you Graded Point 5, where in a comic book it would be worth less than the polybag it comes in.
Hey everybody, welcome to Grade Point 5. I'm your host Jason. We actually have the original fucking crew here tonight. Like, all four of us are finally back together.
Yeah.
Band's getting back together, baby.
It feels so good.
Wolfpack is back causing mass destruction.
So yeah, we got Daryl, Dick, and Wayne. So yeah.
More like Hogan, Nash, and Hall. Come on now. And I'm Hogan because I'm the richest one, obviously.
That makes me Nash.
I haven't seen what money looks like in like fucking 10 years, so.
You're definitely Scott Hall then because
Wow, that went bleak.
Hey, Jason, I'm on W to be Scott Steiner.
like WCW era Scott Steiner.
Yeah. When he first started the Big Papa Pump thing, where he was still coherent.
Oh yeah, I could deal. All right. So this is week 6 of Hellboy. Jesus Christ.
After taking 3 weeks off because of other stuff we were trying to do.
It's catch can with us lately.
Yeah.
I mean, we got people trying to get jobs and shit, and you got me.
This our job.
There.
Speaking of which, donate to our Patreon.
Yeah, we never plugged the Patreon.
Plug the Patreon, damn.
Like, we never even do anything with the Twitter. Like, Daryl is the only one actively doing something with the Twitter, and keep at it. By the way, the response was pretty cool.
Yeah. I was going to ask.
I've always noticed it was either him or Scrump, and I know it's Scrump because it's usually something antagonistic.
Yeah.
It's usually a teardown of the comics industry and shit. But yeah, I figured. I mean, if anybody liked the artwork I posted there, I'll be doing that, every so often. So.
Well, it just shows that at least one of us here has talent.
No, none of us have talent. Have you ever heard the term "fake it till you make it"? That's me.
Well, if that's your faking it, you're doing really good. Let's put it that way.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, all right,
yeah. I mean, I got back into art for the first time in like 13 years. I had drawn some stuff here and there over the years, but I wasn't really feeling it. But now lately, to some really cool developments, kind of reconnecting with my passion for it. So. I plan on doing it regularly, and and now with the internet I can look up tutorials and shit, so it's only going to get better, so yeah, keep an eye on the thing if you're interested in checking out my progress. Keep an eye on the thing, I say.
The Twitter account, which is Graded Point 5.
Yep.
Spell it out, motherfucker.
Yep, and also the Patreon is the same way. Patreon.com/graded.5. It's Graded Point 5. Was it graded? It's Graded Point 05. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it says. I thought it says Graded Point 5.
Oh Jesus! You don't even know what it is? Let me go check.
God, here we go.
I'm on the Twitter. It's Patreon Graded Point 5. No zero.
There's no zero.
No zero. It's all just
point 5. Spell out the whole damn thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
To really drive home the point of the name, I guess. Yeah.
Please don't overcomplicate shit, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do, man.
No, that was Wayne.
I bring to the. Oh well, I was gonna say. Well, shit. It fit. If the shoe fits, man.
Pardon me for using my bank account to fund this thing. that literally has nothing in it.
Yeah,
that's zero. I mean, it looks nice.
We have goose eggs right now.
But I will say, our listenership is growing.
Yeah.
We've had a steady upward trend. We've got our first episode that cracked 200 listens.
Nice.
I mean, it's a small fan base, but they listen when we put shit out.
Well, considering how lackadaisical we are.
Yeah.
This is the first episode I've done in 3 or 4 months. So,
Longer than that, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Hell, it's the first episode we've done in 3 weeks.
Right? I'm not going to get into the meat and potatoes, the specifics, but things turned around for me in a pretty big way. So, I'm back. I I think I'm going to sit out the rest of the Hellboy, depending on how circumstances roll.
Well, yeah, this was literally just shit lined up at the right time.
Yeah, but I will be back for future seasons and stuff, so, I'm fully invested in this. It's a good thing we got going here, man.
Well, we've already said you're going to at least come back for an episode or two of Judge Dredd.
Dude, I'm in it to win it.
Yeah.
I will fly to wherever Evan is and throttle him until he's dead and hang his fucking lifeless body in a tree in the backyard with a sign on it that says fucking Daryl is back on graded 0.5, motherfucker.
Well, no, I mean...
This little psychotic.
This went places, and I am not sure I like where they
Well, no, what I'm going to say is at the end of the Hellboy thing, anybody who wants to step off for a few weeks, take some time, work on their own lives, their own projects and shit.
Sure.
And then the rest of us will figure out what it's going to take to keep going with it.
And all psychotic darkness aside, I know Evan's just been really busy lately,
Yeah.
He's been, he's going to be going
But he's good to have for the Hellboy stuff because.
And Dick has been really busy lately as well.
Yeah, it's been a lot going on, so...
Yeah.
That's the way the cookie crumbles and shit.
Yep. We do what we can do, and we hope you like it, so...
And I mean, it's stupid to say. Even I'm highly inconsistent, and I literally have no fucking life.
Well, neither do I. That's why I'm committed. I've been having this weird urge to do some creative shit, and I like what we do here, especially when we just have one of those moments that clicks, which is frequently with you, me, and Wayne.
Yeah.
And
So when are we going on our first date?
Actually, Wayne, when did we decide? Like the week of May 27th?
This got really gay really quick.
I mean, let's be honest.
I'm just saying,
it was going to happen sooner or later.
I don't kiss on the first date.
Let's be honest. We can work it out. We're all going out to dinner at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
What happens after that, whether it's gay or not?
Yeah.
What happens in North Carolina stays in North Carolina. Problem is, half the damn gas stays in North Carolina.
I'm just saying, I better not see any of that shit on fucking Pornhub.
Oh no, dude! It'd be on video.supernerdland.com.
Again, Pornhub.
Chill our own shit, man. Come on.
But anyway, we have
Because unlike Stormy Daniels, we don't crave attention. Excuse me.
But we have gathered here today to talk about another.
Wow, dude! No, we're not getting married here.
Look, we're not getting married. That's illegal in this state. Fuck.
Hey, I was talking about Hellboy, you faggots.
But dude, you went all dearly beloved and shit.
I should have had the fucking that Prince song queued up, man. Dearly beloved.
Oh god.
Jesus
For a second there, I thought you were going to go like total Catholic priest on this ominous.
Jesus Christ.
It's either a wedding or last rites. We ain't figured it out yet, but
Yeah, well, I mean,
like, comment, and subscribe and tell us what you think.
hey, listen, it isn't hard to figure out where that was going after that fucking unhinged thread I made on Evan's life earlier. So.
Yeah, right? It's like,
yeah.
I'm gonna
I thought I
just
was
quietly
but
type
I'm
to
just
Evan,
getting
call
more
the
psychotic.
police.
You know the worst part is I have no idea when we started actually recording.
I mean, whatever.
Start recording.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I did start recording.
what?
Holy shit.
Oh god! If you were recording this whole time,
that was. I was gonna say that was gold, man. You don't fucking.
well, the reason why we're we're doing more BS this time is because this is a good story. It was only a couple issues, so
Yeah.
it won't take long to bang through. So
Right.
it's kind of one of those things.
We got the original crew together. It's gonna be Bance.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
This
And also,
That's
I
what we
mean,
thrive on.
and we've only had one wrestling joke so far, so I think that's pretty
Right.
good.
I haven't been around in so long. It's good union for me, and now that things are going better, it feels like old times, and I'm just excited to be here. So I am going to be a little goofy and a little banty and fucking deal with it.
Don't you know? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Don't you know that this is serious time, sir?
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah,
This
This
us
is
serious?
we all come like Jason right now is wearing a suit. Tie, and spit shine shoes. And
Hey, listen, Wayne.
what?
Wayne, a shirt with a fucking tuxedo printed on it and a fake tie.
You know the worst part
Look,
is,
motherfucker, you don't tell him how he's gonna dress, okay?
you know the worst
I'll tell you
part
something.
is I don't even own
He's
a
there to
shirt
be
like
formal,
that.
but he's ready to party. That's all it is too.
I'm actually sitting here wearing a Nirvana shirt and Punisher pants.
Let me put my rich guy voice on then. Today we're reading Hellboy. Yes.
Like I was saying, Dick is dressed very well right now.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll just, yeah. Sure.
see, Dick will play along with me. Yeah,
I misunderstood what the whole the vibe was here, so I just showed up naked, motherfuckers. Okay?
I mean, that's whatever. If you want to show up naked,
It's whatever.
I mean, it does explain why you offered to send me video over Discord.
Well, I mean, someone had to get something out of this aside from me.
Jason's just sitting here in the middle of the night. He's chilling. And he's on his computer. All of a sudden, Skype goes off of all things. He haven't had Skype. He's like, I haven't had Skype installed in like 10 years. What's going on? All of a sudden, turns it on, and it's like Daryl's balls. He's like, oh, well, that's something.
Gonna have some questions for Microsoft in the morning, but
Jason's like, Daryl, why you sending me video of shriveled raisins, brother? Why do those raisins have hair?
did you find raisins under the couch?
I just needed to show somebody.
Well, considering how low
I'm
they
not
had,
sure what these things are.
I mean,
Well, I'm getting lower. As soon as I'll be fucking knocking between my knees.
oh yeah, Hellboy.
Christ. Oh, god damn.
So yeah, this thing says we've been in Fiend Phone for like 23 minutes on my end. And I think we started recording at like 5 or 6. We've been going like a good 15 minutes now. And we haven't even said what the fuck we're reading.
Well, I was going to tell them that this week we're reading... Okay, this week we're reading Hellboy, The Third Wish by Mike Mignola. Yeah. Quite. Wink wink, pip pip cheerio, and all that shit. Put another shrimp on the Barbie. Dude, somebody stop me, because I will continue.
What?
What?
Why did you go from English to Australia? What?
Dude, listen. I don't have an ear for accents, okay?
Listen,
I mean, everyone sounds the same to me.
I'm doing him and
Boy, put another shrimp on the Barbie. But yeah, we're reading Hellboy again, obviously.
no kidding.
The Third Wish. And it's,
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Hellboy: The Third Wish. So Hellboy falls in the ocean.
Yeah.
I just have it. I have to make the joke that Hellboy falls through something. So this time he fell in the ocean. So
I mean,
I think that pretty much sums up the story.
falls in the ocean, gets a nail through his horn,
Yeah,
and
it's like a
winds up.
of course, because it's Hellboy, the worst luck ever, right? It's like, oh.
Winds up.
Anyway, I mean,
subservient to a sympathetic antagonist. Mm-hmm. All this bog hag thing Mermaid wants is to end the suffering that Hellboy could potentially create.
yep.
Which, is an ongoing theme in this whole thing, is what Hellboy could potentially become. And this creature fears that Hellboy will become the destroyer. So she seeks to destroy him first.
it had when you think about it, actually a pretty good plan to do it. If it worked.
Yeah.
You know, if everything that they did fell into place.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point is just to make sure his arm doesn't, like, you know, do what it has to do to start the end times, essentially.
Right. Yeah, she's talking about, like, severing his arm and feeding it to an ancient whale, the oldest living creature on Earth, right?
Yep, and then when the whale dies, it'll fall into a pit that, you know, will never be seen. You know, there's no way it could, you know, his arm could be used to, you know, cause the end of time, essentially.
Mm-hmm. But this starts out with Hellboy in Africa, and he's talking to an old shaman.
Yep. Starts out in Africa, talking to an old shaman, and the animals tell him to get the fuck out. Which is kind of funny. He takes a nap, and the animals are like, get out. They're like, what? What'd I do?
Yeah. They tell him tits or get the fuck out.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's, yeah. I'm just looking at it again, because it's, I mean, you know, Mignola's always had really consistent art, but you can tell how it kind of evolves a little bit. It's almost, you know, kind of imperceptible, but it, you know, just, I don't know, man, it just gets better. It ages like fine wine, I suppose. So I'm just kind of mesmerized by the...
I wonder if... I always wondered sometimes if Mignola did the Bruce Timm thing where you basically draw on black instead of white. Because, damn, he's got some dark inking going on.
Yeah. And, well, I think he's always used inks because he posted a picture of Mole Man to Twitter the other day that had raw inks on it, and you can, you know, he's just got a really, really good command of shadows and shit. That I wish I had, man. Because that stuff does fucking enhance your art, like, big time.
Yep. A good inker is always good. Or tracer, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Okay, Brody.
Fucking tracer.
But yeah.
Well, just for the record, the time sucked ass. I know it's a different movie, but I'm just saying.
Oh, you motherfucker.
I'm looking forward to the, what was it, Jay and Silent Bob Return?
Reboot,
yeah. It's basically them. It's fucking Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back again. Except
hey, let's do this movie where it's not stupid and campy.
Yeah. But, so this shaman takes him to the ocean, right?
Yep.
The ocean's calling you.
That they somehow got there without, you know, realizing it. Without Hellboy realizing it.
Yeah, wasn't he like your... I know it was dark last night and I was tired, but wasn't your little house parked in a completely different part of Africa?
Yeah.
And the shaman's just like, you know, get the fuck out of here.
Like, come here.
He takes him. But yeah, he takes him to the ocean, and Hellboy gets swallowed by a giant wave and pulled down to the depths.
Like I said, falls through the ocean because it's Hellboy. It's a Hellboy issue. What do you expect?
Right. He's got to fall through something. He's like
that's the running gag, man. It seems. The Hellboy will fall through something.
Yeah.
In fact, in the second issue, he falls even further.
Jesus. He does, yeah.
Yeah, so...
But, yeah, he's accosted by some merwomen, some fish women.
Yeah.
And a shark.
Yep, he was doing all right. Of course, it's all, you know, that's another thing. It's always like, here, take this trinket that'll protect you. Okay. Loses it immediately.
Yep.
Take this gun, it explodes in his hand. Take this jetpack, it explodes on his back.
Yep. Take this talisman that'll protect you while you're in the ocean. Loses it immediately.
But as he's being dragged down, the fish women, I guess they are, they nail.
They try to play carpenter on his head. Yeah. And,
yeah. Because one thing we didn't mention is at the beginning of the comic, these girls are talking to somebody, and you know, basically she hands them this nail and says, you know, pound it into the head of your enemy. You know, and
or of my greatest enemy,
or her, and yeah, right. And they do, and you know, the magics of the you know, the nail. Not only do they facilitate his capture, but they do keep him breathing under the water and stuff. So
Yeah.
he's basically chained up at the bottom of the ocean in a really ornate-looking cave. It's kind of nice. And there he comes face to face with the what do they call her? The bog something?
Bogrouche.
Yeah, the Bagrouche.
Mermaid hag, bitch.
Yeah. Basically Ursula motivation.
Right. And she knows his real name, you know? And, basically kind of bants with him in your shape and manner. You hardly seem the monster, but we know different, you and I. And, of course, Hellboy brings his bants. And, she basically... That's where she lays out, basically that he's going to, Oh, what was it? Also, see, this is a character that I missed while I was gone. Emil Bertrand. I guess he fell off a cliff. And she's using his bones. Because when he fell off the cliff into a river, which flowed into the sea, to her, he was a miserable thing with no soul, she says. And his hatred for you in his final moments was so great that it lives even in his bones. And the chains that Hellboy's wearing are made out of his bones. And there's still a little bit of him in those chains as well. So, occasionally they talk. But yeah, he's chained down, and she goes on a monologue about, how she's essentially... Oh, well, actually, before that, she brings forth the fish girls and grants their wishes, for their service.
All monkey's paw style.
Right. And so the first wish is to have her lover return to her. And she brings him back, but she cannot restore the heart and mind to an empty, rotted shell. So he shows up and he's, a zombie, and rips out her throat, and she's dead. You will be united in death, she says. And then the second sister, she's like, oh, I'm the second eldest and not such a fool, and my lover is alive, but he lives in the world above. So she wants to be like him, to have legs and breathe air. And so she grants that wish, and of course she immediately drowns. And then the third one steps up, and she wants, what was it, the spear?
Yeah.
I think that was like a...
Yeah, the spear of her father.
Like
yeah.
Yeah, and she wanted to return it to him.
Right.
And, so she gives it to her, and she alone survives, but even though she survives, it comes with consequences. And those consequences are that she has basically shamed her father, because by taking down Hellboy, and facilitating his capture and whatnot, she shamed him. And basically consigned him to hell, is what he says. And Hellboy feels for her. And, well, actually, you don't see that until the next issue. But basically, there's some more monologue about, after she grants the wishes of the fish girls, she says, now it's time for you and I to tend to our business. Your death, the killing and dismembering of you, and your complete and final destruction. And he says, any particular reason? Nothing less than the salvation of the world.
So yeah, you get this antagonist who is,
Actually,
not the bad guy. It's like,
right.
dude, their heart's in the right place.
Yeah, right idea, wrong intentions is kind of the way to look at it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In her way, she's trying to ensure the salvation of the earth, because if he is dead and scattered to the to the four winds, he can never fulfill his destiny, and which and actually we get a little bit of that in the book, where see, again, I'm kind of out of the loop, so I don't know who these people are. The ones talking about him, I'm assuming they're in hell. Is that the case? There's a statue of Hellboy in there?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and, they're kind of talking about his destiny and stuff, and one of the characters does say that he's kind of forged his own path. Whatever path was chosen for him, he left it years ago and stuff. So, this character, the bog, whatever, she is operating under the assumption that things are going to go as Hell had planned for Hellboy, which is, I think,
the harbinger of the end times, and
right.
Yeah.
When I think one of the overriding themes about Hellboy is, has been to, basically like thumb your nose at destiny and forge your own path and stuff.
Yep.
So it's kind of a neat juxtaposition in the sense that, like, she believes his destiny is written and that he is going to bring about the destruction of the earth, and she wants to stop that. And so we get a little bit of exposition about that, and this is also where the surviving fish girl gives her father the spear, and what does he say? The creature never did you any harm, and he was alive, and there's no honor in broken tools and old bones, only in the deeds of our children, and you have doomed us both, and stuff. And it's,
Yep.
And it makes her a kind of a sympathetic character, because what she's doing is out of love, but she's going about it all wrong. And this also puts a fine point on, in the last issue, she survived, and we thought everything was cool, She made it out, but there are still consequences for her wish, for fulfilling her wish, stuff. I've been talking for a while. Anybody else want to go?
Nah, dude, you're doing fine.
Nailing it. So,
Right.
I mean, there ain't that much to add, in all honesty.
Right. So, of course, Hellboy the entire time is kind of pulling for this girl, because he's that kind of character, He sees somebody in need, and, he won't let it stand, if they're being wronged. So, but between that and, the admonition of her father, she kind of comes around and saves him. Frees him from his chain.
Whoa, wait, you're missing a whole bunch of shit, dude.
Am I? Well,
Yeah.
No. He's on. Yeah, but she frees him from the chains. She hasn't freed him yet. Like,
Right.
totality
Well,
of the freedom. Yeah.
There was one panel that I thought was great when the pig dude bashes the statue and Hellboy gets a whopper.
Gets a punch in the face.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, he's,
there's this whole sequence where the Boggers talks about the vision she had. Hellboy dead, the right hand of Doom taken, letting loose the dragon. That's just like, holy shit. And
that kind of plays into what I was saying earlier, doesn't it? About the whole destiny thing, I think.
Yeah.
I think it ties into that. Yeah.
Right. But it is fair to bring up, because there is a lot of exposition about that in this book. It is very dialogue heavy, but it's still manages to be a light read because it's so engaging, But she's doing the exposition there, and the fish girl comes and releases his bonds, and she tells the fish girl, we had a contract, there's a contract between us, assurance is given and payments made, and basically you're cursed now too. So, and how that curse plays out will come into play in a little bit here, but basically Hellboy does his thing, except this time underwater, and fights, and against the Bog Rouge, and
It falls through something, of course.
yeah, he does. Well,
Basically found Davy Jones's locker, and
yes, oh yeah, that was really neat. But yeah, the fish girl tells him to get the fuck out of Dodge, you're gone, get out. And Hellboy being Hellboy, and with this fish girl, being in danger, he does the predictable Hellboy thing, jumps back into the fray, and fights the Bog Rouge and the dead sisters of the fish girl. And, it's revealed that the Bog Rouge basically tied him up because she was afraid of him. She knew he was more powerful than her.
Yep.
And he ends up, succeeding, of course. There's a few pages of dialogue-free artwork where Hellboy's, doing his Hellboy thing. And it's gorgeous stuff. And it culminates in Hellboy discovering the basically Davy Jones's locker. He asks, what is this place? And she says, the treasure chamber of the Bog Rouge. And he asks what's in the jars, and she tells him the souls of drowned sailors. It's where her power comes from. And Hellboy tries to destroy him, and she says they'll never open, not as long as she lives. So, of course, Hellboy offs her. He didn't mean to, though. She threw herself on the spear. And she finally realized she could never beat you, and therefore she could not alter her vision of the future. She did not want to live, she was too afraid. And Hellboy says, of me. And then we get a cool sequence with all the jars clinking open and the souls flying out in the form of birds.
Seagulls.
Yeah. And Hellboy's just taking it in, and she says, beautiful. When I die, if I ever die, all I will be is foam on the wave. And she says, no, even less than that now. This is kind of where we find out that there must always be a Bog Rouge. And when the Bog Rouge died, she passed her immortality and her revenge. That's her revenge. Her punishment is to become the next Bog Rouge. And but she resolves never to, she doesn't want to steal the souls of men. And she's kind of, contemplating her life, as it will be. And she said she dreaded the fire of the Ordru Jurhad, but I will welcome it when it comes, and I too will be free. Until then, I will wait here quietly, alone in the dark. And then her father says, not alone. And she says, Father, will you stay with me? He says, always, even to the end of time. And it ends with a full color, or almost a full page splash of Hellboy surfacing and the whale.
Falling up, as it were.
It's
because he fell down enough, so it was time to fall up.
yeah, exactly. Brings it everything full circle by having him fall up.
Yeah.
But this is the first Hellboy book I've read in a while, and it was just a fantastic read.
Yeah, and we've been doing this chronologically since the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah. So I missed a lot, but even having missed a lot, it was just a really good self-contained
They've got
story.
I've always found these stories have good jumping in points.
Yeah.
Because they'll go over enough to, of the other stuff, so you understand what's going on.
Right.
So you don't necessarily have to go back and read what was before,
Right. And, yeah, exactly.
And plus, I like that they do it without, huh?
Oh, I was just saying, in the case of Emil, they gave me enough backstory to kind of know who he was and what his circumstances were. He was a man who fancied himself a werewolf and ended up in the dumbest way possible.
And the thing is, I don't even think he's in any of the other ones. I think it's just a side story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of those, took place in the 50s where we didn't,
Okay.
when he was working, but, those stories they harken back to, he said, yeah, one time I did this kind of thing,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, then it was pretty much self-contained.
It was self-contained, but I still, talking about, the end of the world and all that stuff, that was in there. Those are touched on a lot in the other books, but, give you enough information to say, okay, I can get through the story without having to know all that information,
Yeah.
Right. And it was just it felt to me like a kind of a modern fairy tale in a way, It had, aspects of that, and it had some familiar stuff in the sense of the monkey paw-esque, wishes and stuff like that, but it was all just pulled out. I don't know, man. I really enjoyed reading it. This is, it's 2 issues, so it's a light read, and it's something I would go back to again and again because it was just a really fascinating story, and it drives home Hellboy's humanity, his essential humanity and stuff, in the way he was protective of somebody who had, basically taken him to his doom, and even though she did something to him, he didn't hold a grudge. He wanted to protect her because she, he understood her, So it was a really neat story. And even the Bog Rouge was an interesting character because even though, she did kind of assume that Hellboy's destiny was set in stone, you can understand her motivation. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. So it was just a really fascinating, you know, multi-layered story, I suppose. Yeah, it's good times. Dick, what do you think, man?
Overall, I really liked this book. It was interesting to see because it was kind of like a darker take on Ursula from The Little Mermaid, kind of. I know that's kind of faggy for me to say, but really, like, it's sort of a similar thing because it's like, you know, she gave them what she wanted, but the immediate downsides were instant, basically. You know.
Well, if you take that story, you know, if you take the Little Mermaid story, per chance, like the original story of Little Mermaid with the Sea Witch and everything, it's almost exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting looking at it like that too, because it's just like, it's not what I had expected initially. I was going into this thinking, okay, this is going to be weird, and then like it played out like that, and I was like, oh, I really like this take on this story. It's very interesting because it shows that even things that we don't really look at as like, you know, children's content or whatever can be made really dark and, you know, can have a totally different take on it and everything. Plus, the art was amazing, like always. I haven't like disliked a single comic book in this whole run for its art. All the art's been amazing, and it just like I can agree the art improvements that get made to the style over time. It's just there's little changes to the style that I really appreciate that just make it, I don't know, feel more clean in a way. Almost, it's almost like he got into his stride and found like almost like shortcuts he was looking for to make things look good without having to, you know, really think about it or guess about it. It's like everything came together perfectly.
Right. And see, that aspect of it was fascinating for me, coming from, you know, I mean, I think I did, one or two with you guys, the first couple stories. Mm-hmm. And then this is the first one I've done in a while. So for me, you know, that kind of progression in his art was a little bit more striking, you know, like it was more noticeable because...
Especially when you go back to stuff we did before, like that Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that's the most fascinating thing, because you could see his use of, you know, shadows even there, but his art was a little bit more, it skewed more realistic, you know, and once he found his kind of stylized, you know, art style, he just excelled. And again...
He was trying to stay in Marvel style while, you know...
Right.
When he did that. You know, that's why I always explained it.
And I just love that, you know... His art, if you were to strip out the shading and the shadows and stuff, would be very simple. But due to his mastery of the use of shadows and stuff, it takes on a greater complexity that makes it just eye candy, you know? Right. In my opinion, anyway. But yeah, you know, that was a treat, going to it and seeing the... I mean, it's a bit subtle. But you can tell he's improving his mastery over the characters and... you know, and whatnot as he's going along, and it's great stuff.
Well, it's just the compositions of the pages change too. Like things become a lot more complex while still maintaining the simple style of the art. He gets more brave with his drawing and the composition of the pages and things like that. The panels are drawn up, and that's where it really comes through. It's not so much a change overall to the visual style. It's because he became more comfortable, he could do more complex things with his own style, and that's really where it escalates and really where it excels, I think. Because the scene where he's cutting all of the tentacles off of that giant octopus, it's just so detailed, and it's totally outside of what we've seen in the first couple of books in the series, because he's not as risk-taking with it as in those other books. This is where it really feels like he plunges into the deep side of what he can do with his art.
Writing, I love it, because, you know, you've got this juxtaposition of Hellboy as the everyman kind of character, with this more fantastical, like speech from other characters and stuff, like all this heavy-handed lore, and heavy-handed not in a bad way. It's not heavy-handed, just heavy. I think that's a better description. Yeah. And you know, you've got Hellboy, like something bad happens and he just utters "damn," you know, and he is like the everyman type character who just happens to be from hell, and he's thrust into all these kind of crazy situations, people trying to push him towards his destiny and stuff, and he remains, I mean, one of the best of us in a sense, you know? he's just a fundamentally good character in the issues I've read, and he looks out for other people and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, I think Mignola's a good storyteller as well,
Yeah,
he's got the craft down, and I just enjoyed reading this book. I had a smile on my face, and it could be due in part to the fact that I can actually enjoy things now, but I also think it was a really great book.
Well, when you get down to it, and I've always said a book, a comic book especially, is only as good as the protagonist you can root for. Right? And if you don't, absolutely. if you the fact that you can root for Hellboy, and you won't, and he's very, I think you kind of played on it too. Even though he'll say damn and stuff, it's almost like he's nonplussed about the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's literally like, oh god, this shit again.
Right, right.
Like,
this shit again.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, my life. Yeah, this is my life. I know, got it. I know something stupid's about to happen. So whatever.
Yeah, it's more like a minor inconvenience to him.
Yeah. It kind of blows me back, and I know it's the movies, and the movies are a lot different than but it's like
sure.
Like the one scene where he he in the first movie, in the first scene where he thinks he kills like that one thing. And then Abe was telling him, he says, it's called, I forgot the thing, the Immortal. He said, do you see, information like that would have been helpful a few minutes ago.
Yeah. And then it gets up, and what does he say? Damn.
Yep, exactly. He first shows up, sees the thing, and he's just like, tell him what it is. And he's like, hey, Stinky.
And it's little things like that I'm hoping David Harbour's version nails.
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't want Hellboy. I mean, yeah, it's kind of in a dark, foreboding atmosphere, but you don't want Hellboy being dark and foreboding.
Right.
Yeah.
You want him to be like, and it's not like a happy-go-lucky thing. It's more of like I said, the blue collar. I've seen this shit before, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like think of him like the fucking mechanic or maintenance guy who got caught, some demonic shit or something like that. That kind of vibe. That's what I get from Hellboy. It's just that.
Yeah.
Here's a man from hell, thrust into all these crazy circumstances, and yet he retains that everyman vibe. Like you said, he seems nonplussed about a lot of it.
Here's another, like, I think is a good example of, like, being kind of like, oh, here we go again type thing. You remember, excuse me, the Justice League Unlimited animated, where they were doing the time, the episode where the guy was like fucking up time and shit. And there was a part where, John Stewart, the Green Lantern, became Hal Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody looked at him like, and he just goes, Hal Jordan, time skips. I've been briefed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, no big deal, got it.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Hellboy's like, just that, these are my circumstances.
It's like when, we talked about, like, when he has an equipment failure or something happens, or, like the jetpack blows up that he's using and shit like that. It's like, it's almost like, Yep. Yeah. Was expecting this.
But then when he uses low-tech shit like that spearhead, everything works fine for him.
And it becomes godly. Yeah. He just first whooping ass and shit.
That is interesting, Jason. Maybe it's because I missed a lot, but I didn't notice that kind of.
I think it was Evan who made a point in a few episodes ago where he says that anything, like, it seems like whenever Hellboy messes with something that's high tech, it eventually explodes.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it's, and the whole thing is like, we don't know if it's because it's Hellboy or it's because of the tech. Or a little column A, a little column B,
Right. I'm gonna have to go back and read some more of this.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
But it would make sense that, like, the more mystical, stuff or the stuff like in this case, the spear was like more of a spiritual thing,
Yeah, but he still used it to eviscerate people.
Right. But it does make sense that he would have an easier time, given his origins, using stuff more attuned to, like, the supernatural or that. Yeah, that's a neat observation. Just gives the character another layer. And I think, what I've read of this series so far will go down as like one of my favorites, along with like Mage, which we need to cover sometime if we can.
Yeah.
If you get oh shit, we need to do Cerberus.
Dude, that's 300 issues.
We don't have to do all 300. That's one of the pick some of the. I mean, Jesus Christ! Imagine like. Wow, we would be wrapped up in that for a while. Hey, material. But no, stuff like Mage and stuff that, and see, Mage is one of the ones I want to tackle because they, he just got around to wrapping it up, I believe, not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was one of those storylines that started in like the mid '80s was it, or early '90s or something?
Somewhere in there.
It's been a long time coming, But yeah,
it was one of the first big creator-owned properties.
Mm-hmm. But but I guess I brought that up because Hellboy kind of reminds me of that in a sense, or that reminds me of Hellboy, in that they both feature everyman characters thrust into, crazy circumstances, and find out that, they're more than they're meant to be, and maybe their destinies, aren't written, or, who are fulfilling their destiny. Yeah, it's just very kind of similar material, and, yeah. It's also a great book, the Mage stuff. But yeah.
Now, I got a silly question for y'all. And it's going to be further derailing, and I don't care. It's my fucking show. Fuck you.
Hey.
If we could cover any one run of any one comic, your choice, what would it be?
Oh, shit. That's putting me on the spot. Dude, the Infinity Gauntlet would be mine, of course.
Didn't we do that?
Oh, dude, that never happened.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. Shouldn't we do that?
Yes. See, that was the storyline that essentially opened the door to comics for me. I was living in a foster home, and this kid, Eddie, had a big box of comics, and he just one day said, "Here, take them. They're yours." He had the entire Infinity Gauntlet run, every tie-in, everything, and I just devoured that. So, I would love to talk about that. How about you, Wayne? I know it's a hard choice, right?
Well, see, this is something I was thinking about the other day because I had an old friend who called me, and we were talking about the state of comics and stuff we liked back in the day that we cannot stand to see now.
Right.
Which is really sad. But I was I was huge into X-Men. That was like my first venture into comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my first big arc was the Executioner song.
Dude, that is fucking creepy because right after I asked you, I thought X-Men Executioner song, no shit.
Yeah.
That is fucking creepy.
that was just like a really, that was like my first event,
Right.
And it was really well done. Considering at the time there was Uncanny, X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force. I think it leaked through those four.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think because Excalibur was kind of its own thing. So,
yeah.
But yeah, those four books, and I think it went on for 3 months each for each book or something like that because, and it was just a good it wasn't it was it brought up all the big the big boys it's here's Strife, oh shit, here's Apocalypse,
Yep.
And Apocalypse was kind of a good guy in this one. I was like, holy shit, this is actually really cool.
What about you, Dick?
Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah, we'll go over there.
All I was going to say is, speaking of Apocalypse, if I had to make a second choice, I did really enjoy Age of Apocalypse. It's not a very... I mean, as far as events go, mid-90s events, it was fun, It had some interesting takes on the characters and stuff. I believe Carol Danvers was one of the Human Resistance members or something like that. And,
it was literally hey guys, hey you guys alter timelines? Well, look at this shit.
Yeah, and it was, and I think the event that led into it, was really interesting too.
The Legion Quest and everything.
Legion Quest, yeah. Yeah. So that would be my second pick. It wasn't like a world changer, but it was fun, and actually it did have a lot of it resonated through the comics for years, didn't it?
It has some implications, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
right.
if not for Age of Apocalypse, we'd have never got Exiles.
Right.
And we would never have gotten crossovers like AOA Nightcrawler in X-Force.
Right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there was the Sugar Man, Dark Beast.
All right, Dick.
Yeah, those characters actually leaked over, yeah.
Dick.
There was one that was like...
God damn it.
like one-offs. I'm sorry. But it had one of those one-offs. It was like one of those like a couple of years later, that's like, hey, let's tell the story from that, thing again. Mm-hmm. And it was about Juggernaut. And when I really found about it, like, Juggernaut was a monk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? A non-violent monk. Had the power to pretty much stop all this shit that was happening. Right?
He died of an aneurysm.
Yeah, he died of an aneurysm because he just could not make a decision.
Right.
Essentially, he was trying so hard to struggling with either keeping staying peaceful or going to war that he literally killed himself.
Right.
Like so.
Oh shit!
I thought that was like always one of them interesting like side stories that coming out. Dick,
Dead Man Wade.
yes. Dick, tell us movie comic something.
Dick, rise from your grave.
Wave, yes. Tell us how much you like Altered Beast.
Fucking daughter. I think we lost Dick.
Dick, come back to us.
Well, because you're all giving me an idea that I want to do now.
What is
Shit.
Oh, hold on a sec. I have a message from Dick on the side. Dick is feeling under the weather and can't really talk. It's okay, Dick.
Son of a bitch.
Are we putting under the weather in air quotes?
No, he said he's feeling sick.
Oh well, yeah.
Did he smoke too much, man?
Let me tell you something, Dick, you bastard.
But no, I'm thinking about something, guys, and
Yeah.
it involves pushing Transmet back a bit.
Okay.
All right.
To do something I've wanted to do since we started this whole podcasting bullshit 2 years ago.
Okay.
I want to do an in-depth.
Bullshit.
I want to do an in-depth AOA.
Yeah, buddy.
The original.
Now, are we talking?
Original only.
That answers my
just
question.
the original run, yeah.
I'm down. I am so
That would
fucking
be
down for that.
pretty sweet, I think.
Now, the reason I don't push for Infinity War or Infinity Gauntlet first is because I don't want it to come across as a crass tie-in.
Oh no, I'm already gonna do the Crash tie-in as a one-off episode.
All right.
Just like something between Hellboy and Judge Dredd, just like a couple one-off episodes and shit.
Yeah, I like that though. You're like, we're doing the crass tie-in, Daryl.
Oh yeah, dude.
Fucker.
Yeah.
Look, it's all about getting them Patreon bucks.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, if we can get 50 cents on there,
Hell yeah, man.
we need about 350.
If I can get, if we get $4, man. I'm telling you.
Dude, no. Listen, it's $5 for fucking Subway, so.
No, dude, it's like it's $6 a month for Comixology.
See, there you go.
And that's actually the kind of shit we need.
Yeah, that's what the Patreon's there for.
Yeah, eventually.
Because right now we're kind of relying on Jason's collection, which he has a fucking impressive collection, but he doesn't have stuff like Mage. And we need to do Mage.
Yet.
So, if you like what you hear tonight, then donate to my Patreon.
No. Bad.
Fuck you.
Bad Daryl.
Patreon. Yeah. Oh, also, shit.
You are literally robbing us from taking it right out of our pockets. You son of a bitch.
That pesky ad block. But no, I'm down.
That's going to be, I guess that's going to be our enforcer now. Just Vince McMahon just shows up in our podcast. Like, look at here, you bastard.
And it's just, I understand it. Really, I do. It's like, we're not professional in any way, shape, or form. We do this just goofing off. Half the time, half the cast is on some mix of chemicals.
Yeah.
Three-fourths.
Tonight I'm sober, so.
Okay. So
I
one
dropped
half
the
at least
thunder.
tonight.
Yeah. But yeah. No,
But yeah, I mean,
it's just something for fun.
it's
But
not
if you
that
like
we.
what we do, help us do it more.
Yeah, it's not that we need the Patreon. It's just there if people want to throw money at us.
I have medical bills to
Exactly.
pay. God damn it! You're going to donate to Patreon?
No, you are not siphoning money off the Patreon.
Fuck you! It's a fee for using my bank account.
It's a finder's fee.
No, I have no. Like literally, people. I have no.
Yeah.
Fine.
And that's the thing. I mean,
About to say, Wayne, donuts do not count as a medical bill.
yeah. But
I mean,
those
I guess it
glazed
depends on what
donuts, man,
country.
Those glazed donuts are a little expensive, man. You gotta. Nah, but we're just saying, we appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah.
In and of itself.
Yeah.
If you do want to throw some shekels our way, we'll put it to good use doing some more of this, and we'd appreciate it, and you. So, something to consider, but you're not obligated. Absolutely not. So.
And it's not like we're going to put anything up behind us, any sort of Patreon or paywall.
Oh, fuck no. No, yeah. I mean, if our Patreon does meet with success, we're going to do this for you guys regardless, Like,
Exactly.
We have to live this hell. So do you. You get this hell for free. Oh, shit. That was creepy. Did I break
You're just having a time tonight, dude. I mean, damn, dog.
Hey, listen. Jason just admitted that half of us are impaired when we do. Hey, I took that as an invitation to, speak.
Just calm down, my boys. Calm down.
Well, like, Wayne, how many times in just our normal conversations have I said, could you imagine how far we could go with this if we just gave a shit?
But the thing is, like, when we sit down to do it, we all have a good time, I think,
It's just, we
It's
never...
a matter of finding the motivation.
Yeah, it's just like, we've had this idea for the second podcast going since, December?
To be fair, though, Wayne does have a lot of responsibilities that keep him kind of busy, so we're just trying to find the time for that.
Yeah, that World of Warcraft sure really keeps him going.
Hey,
Hey, but that's two or 3 in the morning, man.
yeah.
I'm usually up.
Yeah.
Or 5 or 6 in the morning, or 7
I've
or
been
8
going to sleep at
morning,
6 p.m. and getting up at 2 or 3 in the morning to go eat
Noon.
Denny's, Yeah, noon. Jesus Christ.
Can't afford Denny's. Get out of here.
Actually, what he's...
Donate to the Patreon.
Actually, what Daryl does is he follows around migrant food trucks.
Whatever falls off the food truck, I'm devouring. Even
When he
the
goes
rats.
about restaurants, and when they're done for the night, he's like, mealtime. Then he's jumping them out in the dumpster. He's like,
Dude, I ate a cockroach the other night. No lie, it was.
Dude.
Listen. It tasted better than the fucking lo mein they threw out.
oh Jesus! Where'd you go to? You went to that? You went to that chow mein restaurant? Didn't you?
No, worst part is it was Panda Express.
Oh God!
Hey, listen, man. They used to have good orange chicken. I don't know anymore.
I mean, that's
They
why
don't
when
either.
Low Ping started cooking your food.
Oh man, yeah.
Fucking
yeah,
pandas, man! You don't let pandas cook your food, man. Get out of here.
No.
That's just stupid. Wind up with bamboo sticks and fucking termites and shit. I don't know.
Hey, let's not termites until you try them, motherfucker. And cockroaches.
I can go. I think I can safely go my entire life. and
never
not
eat a
termites
termite?
and never try them.
Listen, man. You consume hundreds of bugs per year in your sleep. So I'm just saying, be awake when you do it, and you might have a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Wayne. Actually, what you should take from this is you will never be so poor that you have to eat bugs out of the dumpster behind the Panda Express. Okay, so
I mean, I thought we were going to Denny's because
that's your daily affirmation.
I thought Denny's dumpster would be a lot better.
Dude, have you eaten at Denny's lately? It's not
Pretty much
better than
dumpster
that
food.
Cockroach. Yeah. I feel like
I don't
they
know.
might go
There's
to-
like one Denny's like within like a 20-mile radius, and I've never been
Yeah.
there, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, I took my mom to Denny's one year for her birthday, and the experience was bad. The waitress, to her credit, she was just frustrated about the working conditions. But,
But you worked at Denny's.
Right, yeah. So fair enough, but she was more busy bitching about the job than doing it, so...
It's like, God, I hate my
and
job.
I ordered like eggs and bacon and shit, and they brought it out, and the eggs were cold, and I think the bacon was freshly stripped from the pig, and I'm talking like it was like undercooked. How do you undercook bacon?
That's nasty.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right, I think we've gotten far enough off track for this. So,
Still recording?
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, dude.
How do you think we fill time? That's how we do it. Fuck.
Right?
This is why people should donate to the Patreon.
You mean
Yeah.
I've been saying this retarded shit?
Yep.
That is, again, patreon.com/graded.5.
All spelled out?
Yep.
Words?
Yep.
Which I just found out tonight.
Yeah. All in words, ladies and gentlemen.
And we'll see you next week when we probably fuck up more Hellboy. Hey, this is Jason. This here to say, if you enjoyed the show, spread it around on social media. And follow our social media presences on Facebook and Twitter, both at graded.5. Just spell the whole thing out. Also, support your local comic shop and the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. If you don't know where your local comic shop is, there are sites like findacomicshop.com, and that'll help you find it. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you next time.